This tutorial discusses multi-part CSV pricing capabilities within the generic pricing script. So for this example, I'll be utilizing a sample product that we've set up on one of our storefronts. You do have the ability to access this if you want something to reference, if you're trying to replicate this behavior. Just go to training.infigosoftware.com/pricing scripts. And the product you're looking for is Multipart CSV pricing scripts. This product contains a few different parts. One of them, or the top section here, is a description of what this product covers and how it's utilized, along with a couple of images. Then you've got a sample configuration of the pricing script, so the generic pricing script. We'll go into this in more detail later on. You've got visual representations of the CSV documents that are being utilized in this particular product. And then right at the bottom, you've got this actually in action. So the ability to switch between different attribute combinations and draw in different prices. So our sample CSVs for this particular demonstration only contain a few entries each. However, this functionality is intended for use when possible number of configurations for a product number in the thousands. So the way this works, when the configuration of product attributes, such as A and B that we've got in here, are changed, the Infigo system has to look up the updated price information from the provided CSV. For very large CSVs, and we're talking here about over 1,000 entries, for example, as a general rule of thumb, this can take a noticeable amount of time. So by splitting one large CSV into multiple smaller CSV documents, we can ensure that this loading time is decreased, and this is what we'll be showing you how to do in this tutorial. Okay, so what we actually mean by this functionality, as we've mentioned, is splitting our data into multiple CSVs for easier access. In our particular example, it's been split into 6 different CSV documents, and each of those CSV documents covers the data for one selection of the attribute B. So this means that for each of the CSVs, the value for the B attribute will be the same throughout. So I've got 2 example files open here. One of them has B1 selected for every option, and one has B2 with every other configuration of A. So as a result, we've got 6 CSVs covering B values from 1 to 6. Now we must upload these CSVs into a subdirectory within our global additional data section. So we utilized global additional data in previous tutorials, but that was just for a single CSV. In order to actually utilize multiple CSVs grouped together on one product, we do need to put them in a subdirectory. It's simply a case of typing the name of the subdirectory that you want here, and then clicking on Create. That will create one of these larger icons here, which represent the subdirectories. You can click on one of those. That is essentially just a file within a file where you can then upload those subsequent multiple CSV documents. So you can see here, for example, I've uploaded 6 CSV documents within this subdirectory. Now, in order to utilize the generic pricing script in this fashion, the uploaded CSVs all need to have a matching naming format. And there's a few things you need to consider here. So they all need to have a common file prefix. So you can see in this example, they've all got the prefix of subdirectory, which is quite confusing given the name of the subdirectory itself. You then need a common separator. So in this case, we've got a dash. It could be an underscore, it could be an ampersand, whatever you like. And then we need a unique suffix which matches the attribute value that it's going to be associated with. So as we've mentioned, in our example, we have a CSV for each value of B, and that B value can be 1 to 6. So each file has a different suffix ranging from 1 to 6. So for example, subdirectory -1 will cover all the values where B is equal to 1. Now we need to continue to the configuration in the product variant settings of the product in question. So this is the same location we've seen in previous tutorials about configuring the generic pricing script. And you can see there's a few lines that we need to consider here from the example script configuration. So this functionality relies on several entries in the pricing script configuration. First of all, we have the subdirectory line. So this is a folder that we've created within Infigo's global additional data area in which your partial CSVs will be placed. So you've seen that we created that a few moments ago. You just need to put the name of that subdirectory in here. We then have the base file name. So this is the common prefix of all of those partial CSVs that we've uploaded into the subdirectory. So just put the common prefix here. We've then got the separator. So this is a common delimiter located in the name of all of your partial CSV documents. And then we have split mapping. So this is the identification of the attributes by which the CSVs are split. So in our example, the split mapping is set to B. And as we saw earlier on, there is a different partial CSV for each possible value of B attribute. We also need a line in here to do with the file path, just to make sure we override this default value, because we're not actually using one specific CSV here. We just need to make sure that that is specified as blank. So with this in place, we just need to make sure we save that configuration. And then we can go ahead and test that procedure. Now, test mode runs the default configuration of the product within the admin area and provides feedback on the data that's returned, as you can see at the top. In order to utilize this, you will need a default configuration which is expected to return a price. So for example, you may have to pre-select attribute values. Let's take another look at this on the front end of our storefront just to see it in action. And what we can see is a seamless experience. So there's no indication to the user that it's using different CSV files here or is any different to our other setup. However, we do have a faster user experience because it's now referencing smaller data sets.